What's up, everybody? How are you? My name is Belmin. Can you guys hear me well, clear? Thumbs up, thumbs down, just anybody? Alrighty, awesome. Thank you so much for the introduction. My name is Belmin. I'm the technical recruiter at Offchain Labs, the creators of Arbitrum. Now that's in the hands of the DAO, the community, and the foundation. But yeah, now we're working on a few scaling solutions and a compiler, the layer 3 offering as well. So super excited about that. But I wanted to keep this talk kind of general. I've been recruiting in this space for the past year and a half, 2 years or so. But previously to that, I've done a ton of recruitment throughout AWS companies, small, medium enterprise level businesses as well. So I've seen it all, from the interview processes that I've created, from the job descriptions to the different candidates I've spoke to, whether they be in the US, in the APAC region, here in Europe. I've actually been in Bosnia for the past 3 months, so just right across the border, visiting some family, having an opportunity to work remotely, and even during my senior seminar back in 2019, I had the opportunity to look at the workforce development of like this entire region, like what's happening from an economic development standpoint. Is there funding actually coming in, driving the technological growth and the opportunity here for folks? So yeah, diving into here at EDCON, like there's a ton of different projects. There's a ton of folks hiring as well, and I really want to kind of take a deep dive into two aspects of it, whether it be the project and the candidate perspective, and how those two kind of do tie together. We'll be discussing the overall talent landscape, the hiring trends, and the overall industry challenges as well. Yes, I got you. So the blockchain space is evolving rapidly, and it's essential to keep up with emerging trends. There is a shortage of qualified talent in the market, and companies are struggling to find the right talent. Some of the specialized skills, with smart contract development, cybersecurity, and distributed systems, but also on the opposite side, that there is the business focus as well, with the marketing, the back-end operations, product, and such. And businesses have one of two of these problems. Either they have the product developed and it's out on the market, and there is a ton of user adoption, but they don't have the business figured out, whether it be the HR side, the operations side, the recruitment side, the marketing, the business development specifically as well. And it's kind of like asking yourself, whether it be the project perspective or the candidate perspective, what do I need? Like, how do I play a role in this? What's the piece of the puzzle that I'm fitting into as well? And hopefully this presentation can kind of take a deeper dive into it here shortly. So some of the trends that I've seen in the past 2 years while recruiting in the space, just solely talking to developers, engineers, business development folks, product folks, is there is a ton of activity when it comes to the GitHub repos. I think there's been about 25 million commits in the past year, but when you actually look at the entire developer pool, there's only about 25,000 active developers in the space full time. And that's across the entire world, from the APAC region to Africa to Europe to the United States as well. And when we look at the United States just as a blanket template of the opportunities, there's only 2,600 related jobs in the entire ecosystem, and that's from the exchange space, the node providers, the protocol level, and the various other aspects of what it takes to actually have a project. Already we can see that there's a ton of activity from these more of these Web 2 companies, if you want to say, from the banking system to the supply chain side, and they have these small cohorts of individuals working on blockchain development, and specifically there might be some researchers, some product folks, some business development individuals as well. But at the core of it, if we look at a 1,000-person company, there's only maybe about 5 or 6, maybe 10 people working on this project to figure out if it would, actually work and if the business use case is there. And then you got to kind of pitch it to different stakeholders, pitch it to the board, see if they approve it, get the budget for it, and things of that nature. But the fact of the matter is, there is an opportunity in the business, and there is an opportunity, being developed within the space, and specifically whether it be, the Ethereum, side of it, or whatever blockchain that this company might be looking to use. The simple fact is, there is these folks working on it, and usually these individuals might have a better opportunity of getting a chance to actually transition this knowledge into the more protocol side. Or into the more development side of things. Whereas an individual working just as a sole engineer, and they might be focused on something else externally, and they want to interview in the space, they're not going to have the advantage that this team already has. So it kind of paints a picture of, they already have the leg up, but how does other individual, kind of get themselves, on the same playing field? And that goes back to education, whether it be, taking some sort of course at a university, getting a certificate. Like, all this kind of plays into, your overall growth within your position. Like, the business development individual at a company who isn't focused on blockchain, but is really interested, in it within their spare time, they might go interview at a protocol company, and only to realize that they don't actually have the skill set or the technical acumen to get the job. But the engineer who's working at the same exact company, also interested as well, they might actually be better at that business development role than the engineering role. Just because of the fact that they know how to sell the technology, they know the vulnerabilities and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, the engineer isn't going to do business development, obviously, but just more of the comparison, just to kind of paint the picture of like the capabilities of it. So some of the challenges that we've run into, I've seen specifically, are finding qualified talent. And at the end of the day, like, a lot of the things I just kind of mentioned tie into qualified candidates, but they also tie into the compensation side of things. And like, how do you handle compensation as a project? Like, at the end of the day, if you don't have funding, then you can't really hire for the role, and you can't really build out a team, but you also have a really good product that might be doing very well in the space. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, where the product, the marketing, the business development side all kind of ties in together. But then again, like, if you don't really have the actual funding or the money to pay for these hires, or the resources to onboard these folks, it becomes a bit difficult to actually scale out and like really kind of grow your team as well. And whether you're a small company, a large enterprise, you have to have this budget essentially allocated for these hires, whether they be researchers, developers, and the many other roles I mentioned earlier as well. So some strategies for overcoming blockchain talent would be to kind of really figure out what you need as a project, whether it be the many other roles I just mentioned previously, but figuring out like your interview process, figuring out your technical assessments, who's going to interview these people, where are they going to end up, department-wise? Are they interviewing for one position, but whenever they get into the organization, are we going to switch them and try to see if they're versatile? Are we going to communicate that throughout the interview process? These are like very important things to kind of consider internally as a project, because it really affects the overall candidate experience. And it ties into how you're viewed also externally, because this is a very, very small space. Like, everyone knows each other, everyone talks. If one person has a bad interview, at X company, they're going to talk to their, coworkers or even, friends that are already in the space, and they're going to, express that, candidate experience, and it does kind of tie into employer branding. And one of the biggest things that is that I've seen the past maybe like 6 months to a year has been the focus on like diversity, equity, and inclusion, and how that ties in to the hires, to global hiring, because having the opportunity to have individuals with various different backgrounds, viewpoints, does kind of paint a different project and give other individuals the opportunity to really kind of pitch in and chime in, and like whether it be someone from the APAC region or from Europe that could be working together, it does provide a different like use case for the project as well. And then that kind of ties into the funding side of things, being able to pay these folks and things of that nature. All right, so to tie it all together, the blockchain space is evolving. Companies need to keep up with emerging trends to attract and retain top talent. By adopting a holistic approach and investing in training and development, they can obviously overcome these challenges of the talent gap and build a strong and diverse blockchain team. And I just wanted to say thank you guys once again. And if you would like to check out some of our opportunities, please go on jobs.lever.co/Offchain Labs. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at 0xrecruiter or on LinkedIn as well. Very, very active on both. But thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to listening to the other speeches today.